In this video, I'm talking about should you spend money or invest money to go to university, or should you invest that money in your business as an entrepreneur? So I get asked this question a lot, and I guess my answer to that for a lot of you who are watching this, if you think of the reason why people go to school, why do they go to school? They go to school, they get education, take exams, they get a degree to what? Get a job. And the word job actually stands for just over broke. And have you never noticed that every time you work, the more you work, the more you earn, the more you earn, the more you spend. It's like this never-ending circle, and it feels like you're not just, you're not getting enough. Like you're kind of just existing. You're not really living. So when people ask me the question, should you go to school? My answer to that is definitely yes. Why? Because when you say, well, John, like, how come you always say that we should always invest in ourselves? Well, I think when you go to school or university, you get an experience and you start to pick up social skills. So, if you want to be a good entrepreneur, you have to be good at soft skills. Like you have to get good at reading people. You have to get good at your emotional intelligence, not just your IQ, but it's also your EQ. When you fall out with friends and you have arguments, it's that whole social circle that's actually really important. Another reason why it's important to send your kids to school and try to send them to the best schools is the network that they're in. So let's say, for example, you sent your kids to Harvard 10 years ago. Well, your friends' kids would have been people like Mark Zuckerberg or some of the big bankers of banks or CEOs of big corporations or celebrities. And that's why I think we should send our kids to school. Of course, you want to have the basic education as well. But another reason why people say, well, John, should I invest that money into my degree? Well, if you think about it, what typically happens? You go to school, you're learning, you're getting educated, and depending if you're taking like a PhD, you want to become a doctor or whatever, you have to spend many, many years doing that. And typically what happens is when you graduate, it's great, you got a piece of paper, but then that piece of paper doesn't actually give you a guaranteed job. And also, a lot of people who graduate, they also graduate with a lot of debt. I can't remember where I read this research, but they're saying the average student in the US, for example, graduates with around $100,000 of debt, which is insane. If you think about that, they have to work in a job to pay off that debt. And at the same time, they're expected to get onto the property ladder. So now they have to buy a house, now they have a mortgage, right? And then they buy a car, and then you've got two of those, and then you have kids. So it's like everything's like sucking money away from you. So is a job adequate to live the life that you actually want to do, that you want to live? So I think school is important for that thing. I don't particularly, especially as an entrepreneur, if you want to become an entrepreneur, I don't particularly think university gets you ready for entrepreneurship. It's kind of like they make you book smart, but not street smart. So entrepreneurship is about making you street smart. It's about understanding people. Like if you want to be a great entrepreneur, you have to have good leadership skills. You have to have good marketing skills. You have to be a good presenter. You have to be good with your vision. When I say presenter, I don't mean like talking on camera or speaking on stage. I'm talking about being able to sell your vision to somebody else, because when you're at the top, when you're the owner, you're the founder or the CEO of that company, you are selling that vision. You're a leader to everybody else in that organization who shares that same vision as you. When people say, well, John, should I not just invest my money in self-education? Well, yes, I definitely, and that's how. So for me, I spent many years going through to the age of 21 and going to school, going to college, going to university, and then I switched it and I carried on my education through self-education. But what most people don't do is they don't carry on education. After the degree, it stops. Like you don't carry on learning. Well, life is a long learning process. Even today, I had a meeting with a top law firm who was educating me on things that we can and can't do, because now I've got a publicly listed company. So that means we have bigger organization, which means we have to have more protection. There's always different stages of learning, but people stop learning when they leave university. Most people. So now we need to start investing in our self-education. Our self-education is what we put into our brain. Our self-education is our consultants, our coaches. But like every day when I'm like working out or I'm at the gym or I'm running, I'm always listening to some kind of podcast. I'm listening to some kind of audio book. I'm attending some kind of course, online program. In fact, a lot of people ask me, John, how were you able to list a company on stock exchange? Well, it's because we learned. We got consultants, we got coaches. My business partner to fly to Singapore just to sit down with somebody for a couple of hours to learn some of this stuff. We must always continue our learning. So I think, to answer your question, should I invest in my education? Yes, I absolutely think you can, right? And you should definitely go to school. You should definitely go to university, but not for the reason of getting an education and getting a degree and getting a job. Not unless you want to go that route. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you should still go to school, get those people skills, get those contacts, get those soft skills, and start learning the process. Like you have to learn how to learn. And then once you graduate, then you should embark on the journey of self-education. Self-education means, buying as many books as you can in self-improvement, attending as many seminars seminars and online courses and workshops as you can. It's getting as many coaches. For example, I have a health coach in each area of my life, whether it's business, wealth creation, marketing, sales, relationships, health. That you've got to have education in all parts of life. That's what creates that equilibrium. It creates that harmony. If you're watching this right now, you're thinking, well, John, I'm not getting anywhere in life. It's probably because you're not putting enough new things into here. Because when you put new things into here, we start to get different sparks, right? We spark different ideas. We go, oh, I didn't think of that. Or, oh, wow, I could do that. We start to see things differently, right? It's not what we do. It's how we do something that produces a different result. And how we do something is depending on how we know other people are doing things that allow us and gives us that creativity to be able to create something that for most people have never seen before, or if they have, then we do it a little bit differently. You should do both. You should definitely go to school, go to university, get a degree, and then after you graduate, you should continue your self-education. In between that, if you've got time, if you don't have too many exams and too many white papers you have to write, then actually do it concurrently. If you fall in love with that process and you become curious, then I promise you your life will look very, very different. I truly believe that the wealthiest people in the world, they have knowledge that people who are not wealthy have. People who are rich versus poor, they know something different than the rich know. That's why the rich get richer, because they understand things. For example, a lot of rich people, they get taxed a lot. In the UK, if you earn over, I think like six figures or half a million, you get taxed like 50%. So they have knowledge that allows them to not have to pay so much tax. So they've got good tax planning. Like if you own a lot of assets, then you've got like inheritance planning, and there's things you can do to be able to do that. So that's why rich people get richer, because they consult the best. They pay for the best. My final words to all of you watching this is pay for the best advice that you can afford. That's all I say. Promise me that you'll take self-education as well as formal education. I think Jim Rohn said that formal education makes you a living, self-education makes you a fortune. I'll end it on that note. If you got a lot of value from this, you want to learn more, then make sure you hit that like button so YouTube will show you more of my videos. And also, if you don't want to miss out on the new ones, hit subscribe, turn on bell notifications right now, so you don't miss out on the new videos that I upload on a regular basis. If you got any questions based on what I've talked about, leave a comment below. But I want to ask you a question. What do you think? Do you think people should go for college or university, or do you think they should do their own thing and invest in the business instead? I'd love to hear your opinion. Leave a comment below. Other than that, this is John Lee, the author of Business Hack. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.